So, well, first step is for us to kind of like set up our Facebook things, right? And one thing that kind of got to me, the whole dilemma of Meta, is I really think it's just like how anyone can do anything without like the legitimate organization. And I don't know why, but like you can open an ad account, you can open a business account, you can open a pixel, and you can do all these things. And each one of them is separate. Whilst there's a lot easier way to do it with actually like just engaging directly with like building like there's the father account or mother account, I don't know what they would call it, and then basically go split these and down like it's a tree. It's a, it's a programming thing. Like it starts with a tree. There's a root, and then under it the other stuff that are like active. But for some reason, it's not complicated. It's too easy to fuck up. And in every video, that's literally what they keep telling you. Like they keep telling, in every video you watch, they're always telling you, like, uh, it's easy to fuck up. It only makes sense that you have like three, four kind of like empty spots, the three, four like empty ad sets or ad accounts and all that shit. Like, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes. So just go for it, test it out. And I really like kind of like it frustrates me the organization. I did not necessarily read the documentation the way I should, but in all honesty, I just wanted to start the account and see myself create the first ad before understanding the details of things. I don't know if that's an issue. But it took me the past 2 days, like 3 days actually, to kind of work with the new guy on the team for them to also kind of like switch from just boosting on like the page and Facebook and going on the actual Facebook and going on Meta and creating an account. Now on Saturday, me and him made a deal, and we were like, "Oh, you have to watch this video." So I searched for video. He picked the video that he wanted. I watched the video as well. I took my notes, but I wanted him to kind of like establish something from his side before we actually interact, because I wanted to have access and I wanted to create the pixel and I wanted to create the code that watches the website and I wanted to connect to all these things, but I really wanted him to understand what I'm fucking doing, because after a couple of months I'm gonna leave and he's going to basically take charge. So as I was like trying to convince him to like work, he would say yes, and then he would be like, "Yeah, but I didn't watch the whole thing," and I'd be like, "Why?" And he goes like, "Oh, because I thought," and I'm like, "Why?" And then eventually, he's a lot more reasonable, but he kind of like, oh fuck people, man. I don't know. I think I'm reminded by myself and how I used to be back then, when I never wanted to actually, when I thought the bare minimum is enough. I really think that's what I'm reminded of when I'm working with these guys. The bare minimum is enough. To where would I want to evolve? How much can I really evolve? And I remember one time like looking at the guitar and literally thinking to myself, and I want you guys to understand how limited this train of thought is. And I was looking at the guitar and I was like, I mean, is it really good music? Because all you're actively doing is playing the same 12 notes. I'm the kind of guy that loved music, but like I was in that mentality. It's just so arrogant to a point where I was like, no, how much shit can I do with this fucking guitar that has six strings of over five, six, at least eight octaves, different sounds, different combinations. And I arrogantly was like, why would I want to learn guitar, man? It's going to be super boring or mundane. There's nothing behind it. I think I was like 17 years old when I said that, or maybe 23. I remember I was like looking at myself and trying to kind of like rebuild my whole relationship with stuff. It just can't be helped. Like I could not see the actual options I could have with the guitar. And I feel right now working with them is opening up my arrogance back then, or my complete inability to see beyond where I was. And if anything, man, right now with everything that I'm trying to do with myself, I feel like I'm actually trying to like kind of create that space for somebody else, or like especially since they're paying me, right? I'm working for a company, but I feel like I'm failing. It's like, and I feel like I'm being very patient, but I feel like we're wasting time. Like literally Saturday, he said he'd finished the video. But yesterday, I didn't message him on Sunday. Today, I messaged him. He said, "Yes, I finished the video, but I didn't finish it." And I'm like, "What does finish mean?" And he's like, "No, I finished it, as in like I watched, but I didn't finish the video." And I'm like, "So you didn't finish it?" He goes like, "Yes, you are right." And it took me three questions for him to like be like, "No, I didn't finish it." And I look at him, I was like, "Okay, so like, did you actually set up the things that he was talking about?" And he was like, "No, but I'll do it, no problem." So basically, after I finished talking with him, he messages me after like an hour. He goes like, "Tried to do it, it was ridiculous, so I'm gonna rewatch the video again." And I'm like, it's fine. Like these things I only learned last year, man. It's like some shit kind of like needs to be needs to be played with for it to stick. Our mental models of the world need to be consistently adapting to whatever's in front of us until we get to a point where everything becomes simpler to like absorb and apply. But we have to build some sort of like reference in our heads. We have to build some form of like comfort with what we're doing, some form of competency in us going like, okay, so this you apply, and then some form of like feedback loop, which is the what how I see it is like you first analyze, you assess, and then basically you reflect the thinking process. Uh, you know what? I think I'll talk to him about this, the thinking process, tomorrow. Yazan, discuss. I'll actually discuss with him a bit more the thinking process. And if anything, man, I do. Okay, so where would we want to apply the thinking process? I feel every time we kind of make a decision, when a decision is made, then we can think about it before we implement, right? Like we can always tell when we made a decision. When we have to implement it or apply it, then basically that's the only time that's worth us actually having some form of thought, some consideration. And I think maybe I should kind of like try to see how I would want to think about this and how I would want to talk to him about it. The only reason I'm frustrated is because I'm the one who's not kind of like, who's not reaching out the way I'm supposed to. I still have a long way to go and everything, even like explaining what's on my in my mind, since I clearly don't really understand it as much as I would want to. Fuck man, if I hadn't, for example, started having this conversation right now and trying to explain this, what happened today and over the past 3 days, and figuring out some things that connected to it in order to be able to like establish like something to talk about and something relevant, or else it'll just be repetitive nonsense. I really wouldn't have like came to any of these mini realizations that have been contributing to a whole lot of different things. Yeah, man. In all honesty, I'm excited for this. I'm actually excited to like to discuss a plan other than just what we could be doing. And I thought we'd be doing that a couple of weeks ago, but like we're taking our time. When it came to the questions and the sales pitch that we're trying to build with the customers, we got to a point where, well, the first phone call we were making with the customers was like 8 questions, and a lot of the customers had an issue. So we shrank it down to 3 or 4. But the first one was like, "Hi, how are you? Hope you're doing well." And the last one was, "You have my number." So the two in between were supposed to be like the cute ones. And I'm trying to see if we can actually create a rhetoric out of it. But they're very quick to give up over there. And every time we discuss a different option. And so maybe that would be something cute to talk about in the next video. Yeah, the questionnaire and where we are right now, and how I basically thought that a couple of like jabs at us would be a good way to actually engage with the customer or just like grab their attention. I'm gonna try to like explain that in a way that doesn't make me sound a bit too pretentious. Because we're really trying to hold on to anything that could be in front of us, man. We're really trying to like be. I need to talk to them about something that's relevant, and I'm not there. I'm not part of the culture. So how do I do it? And how do I get to know what's relevant? And the people over there, they don't. The people that I'm working with, they don't. It's like they've been there for over 7, 8 years, but they have no idea. Anyways, thank you for listening, man.